So what we finished, we went through chapter 19 last time. And that was a very important principle we were laying down. Remember, we did the ant and the pen and the story of the baby ants, remember, who went to the zoo, who didn't go to the zoo because the parents, the relatives came and saved them. And then we did the story of the boy and his horse. And what were we learning from these stories? This is very important. Can anyone think of what the message has been from the ant story and the boy and the horse story? Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That if something small bad happens, that may like protect you from something bigger happen, like something worse happening.
Mm-hmm. That's something really important to know, because so often we get upset when things aren't going our way rather than just watching it to see what's in it. And like what we have with this space in COVID, you know, this is an amazing space. We may never get anything like this again in our lives. Yeah, that's true. Anyone else like to talk about what they learned from those stories? And can you apply any of this to your own lives? Is there anything that's happened that you discovered it was good that it happened? It didn't seem good at the time. Has anyone ever experienced that? Haldun, have you ever had that happen? Something didn't work out and then you could see that there was good in it. You know how the Quran says sometimes you think a thing is good for you and it's actually bad, and sometimes you think a thing is bad for you and it's actually good. Can anyone think of any examples of that?
It happened to me like many times in business, many times in like relations, like with our friends, and many times. I mean, I don't remember specifically, like I'm in the details, but like many times it happened.
Yeah, you start noticing it. Once you know it's a principle that's going on, you can start to become aware of it. I know that as a publisher, you know, my husband used to get so mad at scholars. They'd say the manuscript will be in on such and such a date, and then it takes years. Some books took 17 years, one book took 30 years. Scholars are really slow, right? But they have lives, you know, they've got to earn a living and all the rest. And there was one book which has been going for 20 years, right? And it's a story, what's interesting about RUMI. It's a French lady was teaching at the Sorbonne, and she read a book by someone called Iqbal, who was, I think, a Pakistani scholar, who mentioned RUMI, and she thought, RUMI, wow, don't know anything about him. So she learned Persian, and she translated all of RUMI's books into French. And we made our first Hajj with her. And she was petite, and she knitted and ate candy, and she was short. Her name was Eva de Vitré-Myrovich. And so some French people interviewed her, and very famous interviews, and it was published in French. And a friend of mine who lived in Cairo said, I want to translate it into English. She started translating this simple book 20 years ago. And like every year I'd think, whatever happened to that book? And I'd write her, coming soon, right? And then I sometimes just give up, you know, and I don't think about a thing anymore. So finally, it came at the beginning of COVID, and it was 20 years late. But what happened was, in the meantime, another lady named Catherine Branning had written a wonderful book on Rumi's life compared to Ava's life, what they'd been through. And she was a great French scholar. And I only just recently met her a year ago. And because of that, she actually took the translation, she read it against the old, she worked, and all these things that made this book great only took place recently, you know, so that if it had been brought out when I was screaming for it to come out and angry and pushing everybody and getting mad, well, you see, it came when it was supposed to. So children, I mean, when things happen in your life, just look at them. Everybody just bear witness. That's happening now. This is important. These are some of the principles that are basic to the human experience and to Islam and to who we really are. So in fact, we're going to get into some of it. So the chapter 20, which supposedly you all have read, right? Talks about something really interesting. I'm going to just wear my glasses, read you this passage. All right. Imam al-Ghazali mentioned, and this applies to us today, by the way. See how you think this applies to us right now, all right? Imam al-Ghazali mentioned that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has angels. Okay, listen, everybody, angels are a big deal. Wayfaring through the sky, other than the angels that watch over mankind. When these angels see people gathering for remembrance, they call out to one another saying, hasten to your heart, hasten to your heart's desire. Then they surround this group and lower their wings over them and listen. Are you aware that that's what's going on right now? Because Ghazali does point out, this is interesting, that if you join just one gathering of remembrance, of remembering God, in which useful knowledge is taught, that's what we're doing now, it makes up for 70 times in which you just binged on movies, right? 70 times when you joined with other people and your friends and were just playing around and not doing anything truly great with your precious time. So, by the way, what's going on right now? We're gathering for the real learning. This is worth 70 times what we're all doing in the evening, binging on Netflix, just to let you know that this is really special and that these angelic forces are here. So we want to be especially careful and happy, right? Yeah, what can make up for 70 times of just spending your time simply playing around? That's a good question, isn't it? To think mostly just focusing on this knowledge and remembering it. So this is really special what we're doing right now. All right, so we're getting to something that I find very exciting. All right, we've put down some ground rules, what's really going on, and now Ghazali gets tough. This is in chapter 21. How can you watch your very own hearts? I'm not going to read these stories out loud to you. That's what you're supposed to be doing on your own, and you should read them. But on page 120, he gets real. Listen to this. Grandmother nodded. Exactly. Let's watch and clean our hearts together every day. What a wonderful and even enjoyable effort this is that we get to do. And just to make sure we cover all the bases, here is a list, everyone, of the 10 bad things for the heart that Al-Ghazali warns us about. And I want you to watch out for. Grandmother wrote them on a piece of paper where all the children could see them. So I'm going to tell you the 10 things. Listen, everybody, you can't do these anymore. It's over. Sorry, we're getting real here. They are envy, lying, pride, being a know-it-all, wasting our time, backbiting, bragging, hypocrisy, prying and spying, and arguing. So these are things that we all do every day. And so we're going to go with Imam al-Ghazali and unpack them, look more carefully at what's going on in each of these so that we can become aware of these things. So much of what we are doing, we're not aware of. There's a lady named Rashta. She lives in New Jersey, and they have a bunch of little children, and she's gotten 87 families together. Can you believe this? 87 families. We're just a little family, just you all and me. But they have every day, and now it'll be once a week, they have a sheikh come on and he reads Quran and they say the Fatiha, and then they have a lesson and they have their own art teacher. See, I'm not doing the art with you all. I feel bad. You have things to do in your workbook, and if you even bothered to go back in the back of the workbook, it gives you activity ideas for each of these things. And the reason you should do these activities is because you want to really understand what's going on. This is not some kind of lightweight thing we're doing. This is reality. This is the reality of being a human being. So it's not just one more school lesson. It's not that at all. This is what life is about. And so we're going to look carefully at these things. And I attended one of these classes with the 87 families. It began with something, I wish I could get a recording of it and send it to you, but the sheikh started out with the idea of the intention. Do you all know what intention is? When you intend, you have a reason for doing something. When you start to pray, you say, I Nawaita Asali, I intend to make this prayer for the Fajr. And intention is very important because you can be doing things for any reason at all. Maybe your intention is for people to think you're great and make you more popular. Maybe you go and help people in front of everyone, and your intention, sure, you're helping people, but your intention is really to be seen and noticed. It's sort of push yourself up, right? Your intention is very important. And when I studied in Cairo and Azhar, the first hadith we learned was Inna amal binniyat. Surely your actions are according to their intentions. And then it considers some people go out in this world, here we go, on our journey together, and their aim is for the things of this world, getting money, marrying the right people, having jewelry, fancy cars. That's what they're after. And we understand from this very profound hadith that if you do that, your life gets colored with that. If that's what you're into, that's the way you are. Your life is colored by what you're intending for what you're doing. So Ghazali says a beautiful thing. He says, if you have bad intentions, you can change them. Just turn them around and say, I really shouldn't be helping mother just so that my father will think I'm a good person. I should really be doing it because I'm being generous to my mother. These things you have to look out for. So intentions are, I remember when we were driving from Tangiers to Cairo and the baby was being born in Libya, we heard that hadith, and it's whoever makes whoever makes his going out, his pilgrimage, for the things of his world, that's what his going out is for. So we named our daughter Hajar because we were muhajirin. We are all muhajirin. We are emigrating. We're going out for something. Why in the world do you think we're getting together and talking? We're not just getting together to talk and this is fun. No, we are making the great hijra, the great emigration from not being aware of deeper aspects of our life and our faith to the real learning. So the intention is very important. And I hope when you take these classes or you do your homework, you're intending to really, open your hearts. Yeah, that's a good question. Would a few of you say what you're intending to do by studying Ghazali? What is your real intention? Elprin, what about you? I can see the top of his head. What would be the best intention you could have for studying Imam al-Ghazali? What's
the best intention that I could have is to learn about it and fix my mistakes.
Right. Good for you. Yeah.
And for the rest of my life that I don't do the bad things.
Wow, that's great. You totally get it. That's great. Would anyone else like to say what they hope to get from studying Imam al-Ghazali? Tayyib? Anyone want to speak?
Knowledge.
Wow, good for you. That's right. Right, knowledge. That's excellent. Anyone else? Fathers, mothers, anybody can join. We're just talking together. We're just
kids are raising their hands. I think you can just unmute yourself and speak it.
Yeah, because I can't see that,
Yeah.
Cleaning your heart, clearing your heart, learning how to clear your heart from the dogs.
Yeah, clear your heart. Yeah. Because your heart, remember, we know that from the little boy, his boat turned over. All you've got is the state of your heart. Everything else is just a mind trip, right? You've been given on loan a beautiful, that's who we all are. We're all golden hearts. We're already good. We don't have to become good. That would be impossible. We're already good, but we just have to break certain bad habits. We just get into habits from copying people and doing different things. But that's what we're going to be working on, these things that Imam al-Ghazali talks about that we have to look at. Would anyone else like to say something before we start envy?
So what I learned is that we learn like about angels and Allah, and I learned a lot of stuff about them.
Isn't that wonderful? That's so wonderful. Yeah.
Azra, you will say something.
Yeah, I had a question for Miss Aisha.
Yeah.
So you know the 10 things that we're not allowed to do?
Yeah.
You said one, it was something and spying, but I don't remember what, like I couldn't hear.
Prying and spying. It's
Oh,
on one part, to pry into, you know, to find out things about people, you know, to pry into affairs that is not your business.
Yeah, okay. Because
And you
I didn't hear what you said and I wasn't sure.
No, it's hard here.
I
Mhm.
thought you said crying, but I didn't know how that could be true. So
And we don't usually hear people talk about prying into people's affairs, but people get together and maybe they talk about each other, and then a lady might say to another lady, you know what she's really doing? Tell me about, what did you find out about her? That's prying, isn't it?
yeah.
Not very nice. Yeah. So those are things we can't do. All right, we're going to start with envy. Here we go. We're going to start with envy, which is on page 123. Now, do you all know what envying is? It's wanting what somebody else has. Like, I wish my dad had a car like that. Or,
Jealousy, kind of.
yeah, it is. It's same thing. Exactly. You're quite right. Good for you. And, you know, sometimes we're wishing we had what someone else had. We envy, we wish we had that too, right? But Imam al-Ghazali and Islam and everything you know says that Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gives us all that we need. You know, he gives us, even, you know, people struggle. They think, I want to make $1 million. Even the amount of money you will finally have in your life, it's already written by Allah. He's given you the type of person you are, and you will struggle and do what you can, but you don't have to worry, because he has guaranteed for you your sustenance. And he also has given each one of us, each one of you all, are unique packages, right? So, and it's special in who each one of you are. You know, when I look at Ahmed and Azra, all of you, Ali, each one of you is a special person, and you have a special gift to give. Each one of us has our own unique mission, right? And so we shouldn't envy someone else, because Allah has already given you who you are. And now he's given you these classes to think about it more. And so envying it's like not trusting Allah, that what you've been given right now is really wonderful for you. I know it's hard. It's sometimes hard. You wish you had something else. Let's see. Yeah, some people, yeah, then in the story, Layla said, there's a boy in my class at school named Ali who's in a wheelchair, and he'll never be able to play and run like me. But do you know what I noticed about him, mother and father? What? Said the grandmother. What did you notice? Well, I can see that they receive different, but still very good and important gifts from God. All these people have beautiful hearts and faces, and you can tell that all of their hearts are really shining. This people who are paralyzed or in wheelchairs. I'm sure you've seen people who have different afflictions like that. They have accepted the difficulty and hardship, you know, of the family has accepted the difficulty and hardship of their son's trial, right? They are so nice to everyone, and we love being with them. I remember you told us that the best thing we can ever get in our lives is a pure heart full of light, and that a pure and shining heart is all we take with us to the Garden of Paradise when we return to God. But look at Ali. This is the boy who's in a wheelchair, and his family, because they have this special hardship, a special hardship, right? And you know, that's difficult if you have a child who's born and can't ever walk, you know. And they have a special hardship. They have been given a special reward. They have gotten very good shining hearts. That family is not wishing for the blessings that I have or envying me. because they are grateful to God for their own special blessings. You could say this little boy in the wheelchair, he sees you running and playing sports at school, right? And he wishes he could be like that. No, the true thing is you love the special blessings you've been given, right? And that's what you say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I'm so grateful for what I've been given. So you must never wish for or envy what blessings others have, because then you cannot pay attention to Allah's wonderful plans and blessings for you. So that's part of why we say Alhamdulillah, that we're grateful for the blessings that we have. So that's one of the things you shouldn't have. Could any of you talk about anything that you've ever jealous or been envied for with another person? I mean, we all have it, you know. I mean, what have I envied? Sometimes, well, I'm older. I guess I'm doing it less. Khaldun, what have you envied or felt jealous of in your life?
From other people, right?
Yeah. What have you
Yeah.
looked out and thought, I wish I had that?
Yeah, especially like when I mean it's all about like, I mean, the kids. Like, I mean, I would like my kids do the things, and when for example I want them to do, let's say like, I mean, to do like certain sports or certain things, and when they are not interested in, so
Uh-huh.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is one point, I mean, I do.
Sometimes we may
But
see.
then I tell
Yeah.
myself that, like, I mean, instead of like then there must be a reason that they don't do this. So like, I mean, they can do something else instead of like what I want, so they can do.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know. It's hard because, you know, we have a certain set of ideas we've picked up just from the way we grew up, and then we think other people should have that or do it that way. It's hard to just know that, to remember that Allah has willed each one of us in a special way, you know, and also to be aware of our own specialness and not wish we were someone else, you know. I remember when I was a little girl, there was a girl who was really thin and she was allowed to wear stockings and high heels. And I had to wear these little dumb dresses with collars. And I just thought, I wish I were pretty like that, you know. But in the end, I've looked to see what become of her life, you know, and how blessed I was not to, you know, my parents wouldn't let me go out and do things like with the other kids that were leading a kind of fast life, you know, but it worked out, you know. But children, we have to be aware of us, because it's so easy, you know, as Khaldun is pointing out, that you look out and think, I wish I had that, you know. Could any of you talk about anything you've seen or envied in other people that you wished you had? Yes, Ahmed.
Okay, so
Oh, look at your brother. He's so sweet.
yeah, he just came here.
Mashallah,
Okay, so
mashallah.
today my brother so my mouse stopped working, like for the computer, and I asked my mom if I could get a new one. And then my brother said if he gets a new one, then I want a new one. And then that's the end of the story.
I get it. He then wanted something else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he envied you. He was jealous. You were going to get another one and he wasn't. Is that it? Yeah. Would anyone else like to talk about it? Because what's happening is, instead of being content and saying Alhamdulillah and seeing why we've been given what we've been given, we're looking around. Oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. And instead of looking at all we have. Is that your little brother who's so cute here? Oh, he's really cute, mashallah.
He wants to be in the class.
Good. How old is he?
Like 1.5.
He's great. Well, he is in the class, you know. You think they don't hear anything, they hear everything, right? They don't speak, but they know, right? Would anyone else, Ahmed, who would like to talk?
Wait, what were we talking
We're
about?
talking about envying, being jealous, wishing you had what someone else has.
Oh, so one time when one of my friends like had like a Xbox and iPad, and then they had a MacBook too. And then I didn't. I wanted that too, but like, it was no use. So like,
Yeah,
that's the end.
good. We just love what you've been given because it's very special. So we all have to be that way, don't we? We really do.
Sasha, can we give a homework to the kids for next week, which is they should do like 2 videos or like 1 video combined. Like they can say what they say Alhamdulillah for. Each kid will tell about something, and also they will video what they are envy for.
Well, I
So,
wish
but each person,
each person, yeah.
so they can reflect it.
I wish you did the videos because the next thing Ghazali says is you can't lie. We all know why you can't lie. It's not the truth. And everything is about al-haq, the truth. Why would you, with your golden heart, it's beneath your dignity to lie, right? If you're a golden heart, why would you sink to lying? Yuck, right? Some little girls made a video. It's in the film about it. If you look at the film, the overview of this project, the 29-minute film, we put a bit of 2 little girls, and they're doing cartwheels, and their little baby brother is sitting on the chair, and suddenly one of the girls is doing, and she breaks her mother's vase, and she says, "Oh my God, it was mother's favorite vase. What are we going to do?" And then the mother comes in and says, "Who broke my vase?" And this is a video they made, and they point, "He did, this little boy." And he's going, "No." They lied. They blamed it on the baby. And then they thought about it. And then they went in and they said to the mother, "We're sorry. We lied. We're going to get some glue and we're going to try to fix it." But they were able to catch themselves and ask forgiveness for it, because every so often you are going to lie. But you know what? If you're aware of it, that it's compromising your dignity, you can just say, "It's beneath my dignity as a golden heart. How can I, this beautiful being, lie?" I mean, it's embarrassing, isn't it? So would you all make videos about this? It would be great. Yeah. No, wonderful. The next thing he talks about is pride. Do any of you know what pride is? Pride is like, you're really proud of something. I have a great computer, or I have a great, what it is. People who are proud are kind of stuck up and full of themselves. Do you like people like that? Have you met people who are very proud of themselves? You don't like them, do you? They're just a show off. Kids who show off, everybody? Have you ever seen anybody showing off? Azra, have you ever seen someone showing off?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like it, do you? It's so obvious what they're doing. What are some things you could do to show off? What could you do that would be a way of showing off and being full of pride?
Like, how do I say? Wait. Okay, so my dad sometimes tells me to like make other people jealous of you. So let's say I go to a friend's house.
Yeah, this is exactly.
And they're a Muslim. And then my dad's like, if you prayed there, your friend's father would be like, "Oh my God, this kid is so like, I don't know." He would just say those stuff. And that's the better way of showing off instead of like flexing your computer, your TV, your phone.
Yeah, exactly. Like once my children were going to this school, and they said, when you come to pick us up, come in the Mercedes. In other words, we want to show off to other kids that our family has a good car, just showing off. Yeah. And people do it all the time. But a golden heart doesn't show off. It would be embarrassing. Remember, do you know the story of Imam al-Ghazali's life? We've been through that, his story? Have we? Because if not, next week, we make a special story about the life of Imam al-Ghazali, right? I don't know whether you have the golden book, his book, but if you go on here's your assignment. Go please to the GhazaliChildren.org website, go to things to do, and it says My Library, and there's a beautiful flip book, and you can just press and the pages will go over. and the beautiful pictures done by the great artist Demi. And on the side panels, it has the text for mothers and fathers, and underneath it has it, if you don't read that well, for children. That's your homework for next week. And we're going to do a very special section. I can't believe we haven't done it before, on the life of Imam al-Ghazali. All right, children, guess what happened to him that made him so great? He noticed how proud he was, how he was showing off, and he couldn't stand it. He was so smart, and every day he went to teach in this university, the Nizamiya. And even the students couldn't get into the university because other professors and famous people came, and he was the best and he was the smartest. And when he talked, everyone thought, wow, he's great, right? Sometimes I show off, I seem to be a know-it-all. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling kind of embarrassed about it, because I don't like people like me that show off. I like humble people. There was a lady in Cairo. She wasn't that smart. She couldn't carry on conversations, but she was sweet, and she was always there, and she was helpful, and she brought food if we needed it. And she didn't show off in knowledge or anything. And I loved her. What was I loving? I was loving her golden heart. People love golden hearts. They don't really like the trash that gets on a golden heart. Nobody likes a liar. Nobody likes a thief, right? And nobody likes a show off. And yet so I want you all to be on red alert. And I want you to do a video about showing off, okay? That will be really fun to do, all right? So we do showing off. And let's see, the next thing we're going to talk about today. Yeah,
Can you write this down in the group thing, so we know what we do?
I already sent the message, but
yeah, Haldun, if you could send it to me too, and you say the homework is to go to ghazalichildren.org, look at the flip book, all right? And then the next thing is to make a video, if you can, about envy, lying, or pride. Pride is like being a know-it-all, all right?
Yeah.
This is really important, all right? So another thing we don't want to do is, Ghazali talks about wasting our time. And I would really appreciate it if you all would read these chapters. There's no point of us coming and spending this time and me reading the chapters out loud. You can always read the chapters out loud. If you can read, take turns reading it, and then just do the workbook. Go and fill in the workbook. Yeah.
What chapters do we have to read?
You might do well to read the ones we're doing right now, just because they're so important. I think you should start at chapter 20, right?
Okay.
Chapter 20, which is about the little the little gardens inside of the garden. When we're getting together right now, angels are around us, because we're going to get into a heavy thing. When you have good thoughts, they're angels. There's a lot that's coming you're going to really love, but we can't do it all immediately. We're doing it in the exact order Imam al-Ghazali wrote it. And he built a foundation, and then he put the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And someone said he's made the Quran in a usable order. It's not just reading chapters. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. It all relates to building up to becoming a golden heart and showing you how. So of course, all of this material are in your books and workbooks. There's no point in my doing that for you. You need to do that on your own, because this is the most important knowledge you'll ever have. You can know how to fix computers. You can be smart in geography. You can have a great job. All that's great. But finally, life is pretty quick. You don't know it. It's really faster than you thought. And so you don't want to waste it. You want to be watching yourself at all times. So now we're going to be watching, this week, you're going to be watching being envious, what somebody else has. And you're also going to watch, do you lie? And you think, oh, my golden heart, I can't, oh, look at the baby. My golden heart, I can't do that. It's just too low, right? And then also being a show off and doing things from pride and trying to show off. And can you all you can take any of these and make a really funny film about it. If you can, just with your iPhones, nothing spectacular, right? Some kids, there's something you can do on your computer where you can do titles for your films. crazy things like that. I bet some of you all could figure that out. That could be fun. And then we want to make, if any of these films you'll let, we can put on the website and send them to other children, you know, because everybody likes films made by kids, right? So I think that's what we need to do. And then, let's see, to now it's only 11:45. So we're going to do two more things. We're going to do wasting our time and backbiting. This is big time and really scary. Okay, wasting our time. All right. Of course, we all entertain ourselves and it's fun, you know, and I can't tell you, my daughter and her husband, after they binged on the Ertugrul thing, they said they got their life back, you know, because they'd wasted so much time just watching TV. You know, my husband said an amazing thing. If you take all the time all of us spend just entertainment, just videos and Netflix and playing video games and all the rest, if you took all the time every person in the world is doing just like that, look at the time we actually could invest in improving our world and doing great works. It's amazing how much time is lost, right? So you want to be careful with your time. You know, you don't want to lose time. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go, what we're going to do, we're going to end today with backbiting. Okay. All right. You all know what backbiting or gossiping is. What is it? Yes. Okay. All right, Alperin.
It's when you're talking like talking behind someone's back about like something bad about them and saying it to others.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Maybe like worse than it actually is. Explaining it worse. So
Yeah.
they think of them as being like a worse person.
Thank you very much for saying that. Yeah. Would any others like to talk about backbiting? All right, I'm gonna tell you something. In the Quran, it says that when you talk about somebody badly behind their back, it's the same. Now, this is disgusting. Get ready to be disgusted, everybody. It's the same as eating that person's dead flesh, like a cannibal, like eating their dead flesh. Do you think Allah would put that in the Quran if it weren't as bad as that? It's that bad. And people don't even know it. So when I was writing the story on backbiting, you can see here's the picture of the girls backbiting, see, talking badly about somebody. And I rewrote that chapter. I can't tell you how many times because I didn't know whether to put the thing in about being like eating somebody's dead flesh. So here's in the workbook. You all can do the workbook on backbiting. There's some kids. You see, there's a little girl reading and they're whispering about her and they're pointing her fingers at her. Have you ever seen that at school? That people talk badly about some of the other kids? Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? All right, so here is the story of what happened to me. I'm writing the story from Ghazali and I'm thinking, oh, I don't think children can take it. The image of talking about somebody behind their back, it's like eating their dead flesh. That's really disgusting. Like, maybe the descriptions of hell are horrible, but this is, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to put it in because you can take it. I think you can take it. And Allah is saying it's this bad if you only knew. So that afternoon, I had written this chapter for children called Backbiting. I'd written it 22 times to get it right. And I went out for dinner with some girlfriends and I drove to a restaurant and we were all there. And they started talking. One of my girlfriends, her father is a pretty awful person. And they were all saying how awful he was. She wasn't there. And then they started telling really far out stories about how awful he was. And I'm thinking, oh, I know a really funny story about how awful he is. So it's one-upmanship. I want to have a great story. So I wait for my chance to get in and tell my story. And I'm telling the story. And it's really funny and everybody's laughing. And then guess what happened? I went out and I got in my car and I was about to drive home and I started feeling queasy, a little sick in my stomach. I got home, I parked out front, I ran in the front door and I ran into the bathroom and I threw up. What had happened was I understood how bad it was and I did it anyway, right? And the fact I threw up, it showed me it's not a metaphor. It's not just some kind of fake image. It's like eating somebody's dead flesh. It is that. It's that bad. And I will tell you, I I can't backbite anymore. It stopped. And one day a mother called me up and she said, the other day I was at a ladies' party and we were talking. My little daughter, who's 8 years old, her name is Lena, she came and whispered, Mommy, are you all backbiting? The mother called to tell me this. I said, may I speak to Lena, please? So Lena, who's 8, she got on the phone and she said, Auntie, she said, you know, until mother read me the chapter on backbiting, I really wasn't aware of it. You know, I didn't even know about it. And I said, oh, Lena, when I was a little girl, my mother used to say to me every day, dear, if you don't have something nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all. My mother should have said it 50 times a day. And you know how many people we know, like Muslims saying those Muslims are no good, she's going to hell, you know, like that person's a kafir. We shouldn't say anything. Watch out. You know, there's the hadith, a Muslim is he who is safe from another Muslim's hand and tongue. So forget just being good about Muslims. Don't backbite anybody ever, ever, ever. It's that horrible. And then when we did the book of fasting, talking about Ramadan, oh my God. In the story, it's a hadith. There were 2 ladies and they came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And they said, we're old. We've been fasting all day long. We're tired. Can we maybe break our fast? We're old. It's too much for us. And the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, brought a bowl and he said to these old ladies, throw up in the bowl. And the people were standing around horrified because these ladies threw up pieces of blood and flesh into the bowl. The Prophet said, you already broke your fast. When you spoke badly about someone, you broke your fast, because the way we normally fast in Islam is we don't eat, we don't drink, you know, all of those things. But there's not just the fast of not eating and drinking. There's the fast of not saying anything wrong. There's the fast of not listening to anything wrong, you know, listening to bad stuff. There's the fast of not your feet not taking you to the wrong place, like to do something sneaky. So that is a Sahih hadith that those women threw that up. So children, from now on in, catch yourself. You actually can't do it. It's too dangerous. Does everyone now understand why? Do you agree? Okay, everybody can now tell a little story about a time where honestly they did talk badly about someone. We can all do it. All right, everybody. Okay, Azra, we'll start with you. Has there been a moment you maybe said something not kind about someone?
Yeah, there has been, but I really try not to, because I like my teachers, they talk about, like my Islamic teachers, they talk about this a lot, and
Right.
I really try not to do it because I know it's like a really bad thing.
Oh, yes.
But like when I'm angry, sometimes it's just, you know, like I know, like when you backbite about someone, you take not all, but like you take some of their sins. Like yeah, I think that something like that happens. But like when you're angry at someone, you don't really care. You just like need to, like, I don't know. So that's happened to me before
Yeah, oh my goodness.
about someone.
Just, you know, we're never, just being aware of it. The main thing is our golden hearts always feel bad when we do this stuff, but now they're watching. They're aware and they're pure and they're saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you did it. Go and apologize. Yeah. So everyone, I'd like everyone to mention sometime they may have talked badly about someone. Okay.
Yeah, one time my like Azra, my sister had some of her friends over,
Yeah.
and I called one of her friends fat when I was like little.
Oh, you called her fat. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That was sad. But you wouldn't do that again.
Yeah, I didn't do it again.
And sometimes you hear people getting together at parties, just sitting, older parents, friends sitting together and they talk about somebody, and they're not there. Okay, Alprin, what that what you were speaking. Ahmed, would you like to say sometime that you've spoken about somebody badly who wasn't there?
In like the summer, there was a guy talks behind someone's back, and now after you talked about like this topic, I really regret it.
Really regret it. Yeah, me too. Just keep in mind that bowl, with people's flesh and blood in it. You just don't want to get into this stuff. It's really horrible. I've just stopped. And sometimes I can see myself. There's a group of people and I have a funny story to say and I want to say it. And it's really putting somebody down. And it's so easy to talk about other people. People get together and, sometimes, people get together. Yeah. Ali, what would you like to say?
Me?
Yeah. Have you ever talked about somebody who wasn't in the room or somewhere else and said something about them?
Well, yeah, the one I just said about my sister's friend, that she was fat.
Oh yeah, you see. Oh, I know.
Yeah, because the reason I called her fat is because
she is fat.
Okay, so they came over, like my sister's friends. They came over for like a sleepover. It was like 1 or 12 in the morning. Yeah, in the morning, like midnight.
Yeah.
They were asking for bagels. I'm like, oh my god. And then, yeah, like that's how I called her fat.
Yeah,
like
bagels are pretty fattening too. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like my last time that I called her fat. I never called her.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, you're going to be watching out for this. You'll notice it now when you do it. You can't get, and if you do it, go ahead. Your golden heart, put the dot. You can have your golden heart or heart that you keep on your desk, or you can, like that little boy Khaled, put it up on your wall in your room. And if you've seen you've done it or doing it, go and put the dot on there. And then, when you finally are getting in control of it and you quit doing it, you can erase the dot, because we're watching ourselves. Do you see what I mean? That was great. Ali? I see Ali Jazar.
Oh, so my so one time when I was like, so my cousin, they sometimes like get sad like some super quickly. Not that quick, but like they get sad sometimes. And and then my smaller cousin, he just like doesn't listen so many times.
Yeah.
And so like when I want him to give something back that was mine, and then he doesn't give it, and then when they leave, and then we just talk about them that like they never listen and stuff like that.
Good for you.
Sister Aisha, assalamu alaikum, because I was late.
I didn't see you. You just joined now?
No. I joined around 11:30. I was a bit late.
That's all right. Nice to see you. Salam alaikum.
Do you see us in your screen or no?
Yes, I see you perfect.
Okay.
I see everybody.
Okay, good.
It looks wonderful.
I think there is still maybe we need to differentiate what is backbiting and gossiping and what is being crude and saying things to them.
Saying somebody's
fat.
It's being mean and spiteful.
Yeah, being mean. So what Ali did was wrong.
That's right.
But it's much less. So I just want to clarify like how bad is to to talk when they're not present.
Yeah,
because Ali did something wrong and he was mean maybe to them, but that's not a gossiping because it is telling to their face. It's not talking behind while they're not there.
It's being mean and spiteful, which is also bad too.
It is also bad too, but gossiping
is the dead flesh.
Much worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
Much worse than that. Meaning that in your life you may have things, you may have arguing with people, and this is life, you will experience those.
Yeah.
When you have these issues,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be mean, but kind of you should address that issue and talk this issue to that person, to that ex person.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That is not haram. You need to talk and try to understand each other. What is the misunderstanding?
That's true.
But having it like hiding it and not saying anything and then go behind and then talk to others like what that person did and commenting all about that,
Terrible.
that's where this big haram kicks in.
That's right.
You need to face that issue and talk in a good way and try to understand, and because also shaitan gives a lot of, it works all the time, tries to kind of have bad, sometimes it appears something to you and then you start seeing that as a negative, but you don't know what was actually it. So once you start talking, you may end up in trouble because
Exactly.
it looks like that to you. So I just wanted to clarify for to Ali. Maybe you can clarify.
No.
Backbiting.
No, you did it.
Actually, we're talking this a lot. It's really big haram. It's big haram in these big harams. It's in there mentioned in Quran and with Hadith, but it's very easy to do it. You know, it's very easy. And that's why I believe even if we spend times into talking and clarifying very well, this it's worth it. Sister Aisha, thank you for bringing this issue and discussing these. I just wanted to clarify. Sorry.
You did. I thought of that myself and I was thinking, how should I do it? If you go, let's say you're at school, children, and somebody comes up to a little person who's fat, you know, or ugly and says, "You're fat, you're ugly." That is so mean to do, right? But what if you instead went to all the other class and said, "Oh, that person is so fat and ugly." You know, talk behind their back, you know, and that's a terrible thing to do, to go and talk behind people's back. Yes, yes, Shamsuddin. I thought you were speaking still.
But I was going to say, why do they think, my question is to all of the kids.
Okay.
Why do you think this is bad? Like, how you are harming this person? Do you, can you say anybody why talking behind with others for that ex person, why is bad? Do you know about that? Like, can you say anything?
Okay. Children, speak up. Why would it be bad to talk about someone behind their back?
If they find out, it will like be like it'll hurt their feelings. And also people think badly about that person.
Excellent. This is a very good answer.
You can ruin people's reputation. People get together and pick on some negative. Oh, did you know? Did you know that person does that? Oh, they do? You can spread falsity and you can hurt that person's life. It's that bad. Yes, Alfred. Yes.
If you say something bad and it's like say that they're bad, and then other people would maybe tell other people, and you would take whoever like after you, whoever says that person's bad, like you'll take like partially of their sins.
Thank you very much. That's a good, it spreads like wildfire, doesn't it? You know, I know the ladies go to parties here in Kentucky. Women go and play this game called bridge. It's a card game, and they get together, groups of them. I'm seeing sometimes 2 tables, and all they're doing is, what do you know about so-and-so? What's she doing? Oh, what happened? Oh, that's horrible. And do you see how she looked? You see the clothes she wore? They do that. They talk like that. And I'm sometimes aware at gatherings how much people are backbiting other people. And it's tempting sometimes to come in, but it's just, you can't do it, kids. From now, just change. If you have the habit of ever doing it, the habit, practice not. If you're about to say something about somebody, just say, my golden heart is beneath my dignity. It's like, I wouldn't lie. and I wouldn't do this. Thank you, Shamsuddin, for bringing this up. Do you pronounce your name Shamsuddin or Simsuddin?
No, my original name is Shamsuddin, but somehow it went like that because it's a long story. We have Cyrillic, our first passports were Cyrillic, so that's how it came to this
Yeah,
Shamsuddin.
I see.
Yeah.
I want to give an example myself, like when I backbited,
Okay, all right. But this
because
is
you wanted to ask everyone, so
yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to tell mine. I did business with someone, and I lost a huge money. And the person, when he sold the shares, he overcharged, like, I mean, 3-4 times.
Ooh,
Eventually, the company started to lose money, so I could never got my money back, even though it passed like more than almost 15 years. So it's hard.
it's hard.
It's not easy. I mean, I spoke a few times within the family. Then I said, it's meant to be. And we I mean, in the family, alhamdulillah, we keep reminding ourselves. For example, Alperen says, Sueda says, Haluk says, and my wife says, this is backbiting. And we constantly remind each other.
Mhm.
I think also reminding each other will definitely help us stop backbiting whenever we do. So
That's very true because particularly, I mean, I've done this in publishing. That scholar is very bad. They never keep to their word. He never is on time. You know, why do I do that? I don't have to do any of that. All I have to do is go to that scholar and say, you know, please have your work on time. It's really hurting me and hurting what we're, that's all I have to do, you know. But to go and start spreading words about people, it's so easy to do. Sometimes, even today, I'm sitting in conversation with people and they're talking. And I said, look, I'm not backbiting, but this is what I have discovered about this person. I shouldn't even do that. But I'm so afraid of backbiting that I sometimes look at it carefully. Am I backbiting or I'm doing something useful? You know, it's subtle. Sometimes it's subtle, you know. Well, this has been quite a day. So we've gotten into half of the stuff Imam al-Ghazali tells us we have to keep off of our polished hearts. But these are things you can look for and you can write them down and start to work on them. So, well, I know you all want to go and have lunch and get out of here. So it's been a great day. I'm glad okay, let's talk. You have your homework, right? Your homework is to read these chapters, right? And to do the Ghazali life, you know, look at that and to do a video on any of these terrible things. And I want to see these. These will be hilarious. All right. So we'll do that. And then next time I will start with, let me just see. Yeah. Making excuses, bragging, crying, and spying with chapter 25. But in the meantime, I want you to really, it's not just this, this is not a scene like school and homework. This is about ourselves. This is about the best thing we've got are our golden hearts. And we just don't want to get dust on it. And you all are so lucky to have families that realize the importance of getting in control of your own heart from the beginning of your lives, not somewhere when you're 25 or 26 thinking, I'm a mess. It's hard to start doing this process when you're old. We're pasting it on. So kids, have fun with this because this is fun. All right. So I love everybody. And this is a beautiful day. And I'll see you next week, inshallah.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Oh, inshallah. And have a lot of fun today. All right. And think about your
Bye.
okay.
Thank
Assalamu
you. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
alaikum. I'm so happy to see you.
Alaikum salam.